Immanuel Kant was a German philosopher who is widely regarded as one of the most important figures in Western philosophy. He is known for his contributions to epistemology, ethics, metaphysics, and aesthetics, and is particularly famous for his ideas on reason, morality, and the nature of knowledge. Kant's work continues to be studied and debated by scholars today, and he is considered a foundational figure in modern philosophy. Two things fill the mind with ever new and increasing admiration and awe, the more often and steadily we reflect upon them: the starry heavens above me and the moral law within me. In this quote, Kant expresses his belief in two things that inspire awe and wonder in him: the beauty and vastness of the universe, and the idea of morality as a fundamental principle within each person. Act only according to that maxim, whereby you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law. This quote is from Kant's famous categorical imperative, which is one of the central concepts in his ethical philosophy. Kant believed that ethical decisions should be based on universal principles that apply to everyone, rather than on subjective preferences or personal interest. The categorical imperative is a rule that requires individuals to consider whether their actions would be desirable if everyone acted that way, and to avoid actions that could not be universally justified. Out of the crooked timber of humanity, no straight thing was ever made. This quote comes from Kant's idea for a universal history, with a cosmopolitan purpose. Here, Kant acknowledged the inherent flaws and imperfections of human nature, and argues that even the most well-intentioned efforts to create a perfect society or system are doomed to fail. Rather than trying to eliminate human fallibility, Kant believed that we should strive to mitigate its effects and create a world that is as just and equitable as possible. Morality is not the doctrine of how we may make ourselves happy, but how we may make ourselves worthy of happiness. This quote from Kant emphasizes the idea that morality is not just about personal pleasure or satisfaction, but about living a virtuous and ethical life. Kant believed that true happiness comes from living in accordance with universal moral principles, rather than simply pursuing pleasure or avoiding pain. By living a virtuous life, one becomes worthy of happiness and can find deeper and more meaningful fulfillment. Science is organized knowledge. Wisdom is organized life. This quote from Kant emphasizes the distinction between knowledge and wisdom. While science and other forms of knowledge are important, Kant believed that true wisdom comes from the practical application of that knowledge to one's own life. In other words, wisdom is not just about knowing things, but also about living in a way that reflects one's values and beliefs. All our knowledge begins with the senses, proceeds then to the understanding, and ends with reason. There is nothing higher than reason. Kant believed that all knowledge is ultimately based on our perceptions and experiences, which are then processed by the understanding and ultimately evaluated by reason. He saw reason as the highest form of cognitive capacity, allowing us to make sense of our experiences and make ethical and rational decisions. Happiness is not an ideal of reason, but of imagination. This quote is from Kant's book Critique of Pure Reason. Here, Kant is arguing that happiness is not something that can be rationally or logically pursued. Rather, it is something that people imagine or desire, based on their subjective experiences and preferences. He believed that people should strive towards achieving moral goodness, rather than pursuing happiness as an end in itself. Enlightenment is man's emergence from his self-imposed immaturity. Immaturity is the inability to use one's understanding without guidance from another. This quote is from Kant's essay, What is Enlightenment? Here, Kant is defining enlightenment as the process of individuals breaking free from their own intellectual limitations, and taking responsibility for their own thinking and decision-making. He believed that people were capable of reason and autonomy, but that they often relied too heavily on external authorities, such as religious leaders or political rulers. Man is the only being who needs education. This quote reflects Kant's belief in the importance of education for human development and progress. Kant believed that education was essential for cultivating the rational and ethical capacities of human beings, and that it was necessary for the achievement of personal and societal goals. Thoughts without content are empty. Intuitions without concepts are blind. According to Kant, our thoughts or concepts are necessary for giving meaning and structure to our experiences, while our experiences provide the raw material or content for our concepts. Without experiences, our concepts or thoughts would be empty and devoid of meaning, while without concepts, our experiences would be unintelligible and blind.